Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks. Now, in this video today, I am going to talk about African cichlids and African cichlid fry, which are baby fish. I'm going to show you what I have going on in a couple of aquariums in here, talk about what I feed them, and kind of the process over the next few months. But also, this is kind of a special video, so I have a big announcement to make about the channel, and we're going to give away a couple of large prizes to a couple of people out there. So if you are watching this video within the first couple of days of it coming out, then you have a very good chance of winning a prize. So if you want to learn about winning the prize, you'll have to stay until the end, because that's when I'm going to make the announcement. And there are going to be some clues in the middle of the video, so you can't just skip forward to the end and hear about the announcement and try to win. You got to watch the whole thing. So anyway, let's talk about African cichlids, which I have here behind me. So I've got this tank of peacocks and small halves of peacocks. I've got Mbuna in this tank over here. We have Mbuna behind the camera. I have African cichlids in a lot of different tanks, like Malawi, like Tanganyika, etc. In a recent video, I had shared with you that the fish in this tank, they're quite old. Some of them were, I think I said like 7 years old or something like that. A couple have passed away. 2016, so that's going on 8 years, I guess. And I basically need to put more African cichlids, more peacocks in that tank. And so I've got some babies, which are fry, growing out. So if you hear the word fry when it's referring to live aquarium fish, that means that they are baby fish. Before I go on, I do want to pause right here and thank the sponsor of this video. You might be noticing my fit once again. This is one of my favorite t-shirts, and it's by a company called Into the AM. I have tons of their apparel. I love it. I've got hoodies, sweatpants, and these graphic tees. Into the AM, thank you. Into the AM is a team of artists and creators that formed an apparel company to share a common vision of developing premium apparel that elevates self-expression while focusing on comfort by using the highest quality materials and eco-friendly inks. Into the AM has dozens of cool designs to choose from, covering many categories including t-shirts and tank tops, hoodies and jackets, hats, and even joggers and shorts. Use the link and discount code below to shop at Into the AM and find your clothing piece to express what drives you. Now, as I shared in another video, as I mentioned, this tank has fish that I've had since 2016. It's 2024, so they're like, some of them are 7, 8 years old. They're quite old, and, I've got some that have like, blind in the eye and, not doing so great. So they're, kind of getting in that old man phase where they're going to need to have some new fresh young blood in this tank pretty soon. So that's why I have some babies. So in here, these are mostly males, but I do have a few females. Now, with African cichlids, it's very easy to tell which ones are males and which ones are females because they have dimorphism. Now, the dimorphism is not only in size. So dimorphism basically means that there's a physical difference between males and females that's noticeable. So not only are they dimorphic in size, but also in color. So you'll see the females kind of brown or gray and drab looking, and then the males are the ones that have all the color. Now, down here, we have some fry, some baby African cichlids. They're just growing out in this 20-gallon tank, and there's a whole bunch in here. There's probably, in this tank, maybe like 16 or 18, something like that. I didn't count them, but they all seem to be doing well. They've been growing. They're actually like 5 times the size of when they first were swimming around in this tank. And then over here in another tank, we have more. This is a little quarantine holding tank that I have. There's probably 20 plus in this tank. A little bit about African cichlids and how they spawn. So what happens is a female and a male, obviously you need both to make babies. The male will basically make a kind of nest area. So they'll go to the substrate, they'll pick it up with their mouth, they'll spit it over somewhere else, they'll spread out an area with their tail. And usually what happens is they chase all the other males away. And then the female will come by, see there's a place to lay her eggs basically, or release her eggs. She will release the eggs. The male then comes by, releases his smelt or his sperm. The eggs will then become fertilized with the mixture of the sperm and the eggs, and the female will then pick up the eggs and hold them in her mouth. Now, why do they do that? They do that because that prevents all the other fish in the Great Lakes of East Africa or in an aquarium in San Francisco. It keeps them from eating the eggs and allows for the baby fish to have a chance, or the eggs at least a chance to hatch. Now, what does that look like? So right here, you see this female, and it kind of looks like she's like swishing something in her mouth. You kind of see her jaws moving around there. Her mouth is closed, her lips are closed. I guess fish don't have lips, but whatever it is, her mouth is closed. And she'll hold him for a period of about 4 weeks, roughly, give or take, depending on the temperature and all that kind of stuff. She'll hold him in her mouth until she's ready to spit. And when she spits, she will spit out the baby fish, and they'll swim around freely. So what I did is I took a female from this tank that I saw was holding eggs and put her in that tank. And then I took another female that was holding and put her in that tank. And then I let them sit for 3 or 4 weeks. I left them alone. Obviously you don't feed them because they can't eat while they're holding. And eventually the eggs will hatch in her mouth, and then the babies will keep swimming around in her mouth for a little while with a little egg sac attached to their belly, like a little yolk. And then eventually they absorb that and they're free swimming, and then she spits them out, and then they're free to go off into the world. Now, obviously in the aquarium, it's not a world, so that's why I keep them separate from the males and the other big fish to not get eaten. And then I take the female, put her back in a tank, and let her eat and all that good stuff. So you'll see in this tank that there's lots of hiding places. We have some babies hiding under rocks over there. And usually what will happen is if you have lots of rock work, lots of places for fish to hide, every spawn you'll get a couple that survive. Down here you see a couple of little ones kind of swimming underneath that big rock back there. So what will happen is every spawn there'll be a couple will survive. But I don't want just a couple. I want a bunch. I want to put like 8 or so, like, you know, juvenile male peacocks in this tank. So that's why I have them down here and over in that tank, to keep them separate and let them grow out. Now, when it comes to feeding those baby African cichlids, it's very easy. For one, African cichlids are easy to feed. They have voracious appetites, they grow pretty quickly, and they're active, so they're always looking at eating something. One of the things I like to do is I like to feed them like a quality flake food that I can grind up a little bit finer. So this is the Extreme Krill Flake, one of my favorite foods. I am sponsored by Extreme, and it obviously will come in larger flakes, but what I'll do is I'll just grind up the little flakes there in my finger and make kind of a powder. So if the fry are really tiny, because when they are first spit out, they're pretty small, I'll grind up some flake food and put that in there. The other thing I really like to do is I like to feed them live food, live baby brine shrimp in particular, because it's easy to make. I can hatch brine shrimp every day. It's super healthful, especially when that brine shrimp is just hatched, and they're also full of nutrients because they just absorb their yolk. And they swim around in the aquarium all day, and the fish can chase them and eat them. And it's just a nice, fresh food source that's great for lots of different baby fish, but I've been feeding them to my African cichlids. Now, my brine shrimp hatchery is currently empty because I fed out recently, and I didn't make a new batch because I wanted to show you how to make brine shrimp. Now, before we go on, I did say there's a couple of big giveaways. The first clue is brine shrimp. So remember brine shrimp as the first clue. So here we have a brine shrimp hatchery. This normally comes with legs, and you can like put it on a counter or something like that. I have this little mount so I can mount it on the wall. It's super easy over my sink here in the fish room. So all you need is a hatchery. You could actually make these out of like 2-liter soda bottles and some airline tubing if you want to. It's pretty easy. Some kind of like a light bulb is useful, and you want to make sure that you can keep the water at like tropical temperatures, so around 76 to 78 degrees, maybe up to 80. And a light bulb will actually keep it warm, but also in this case, the whole room is at 78 degrees, so I don't have to worry about that. First thing I'm gonna do is drop something on the floor, and I'm gonna get my measuring spoon, tablespoon. I'm gonna do a tablespoon of easy brine shrimp salt, but you can use a regular aquarium salt or like a marine salt for saltwater tanks. I like to use my Fritz marine salt sometimes. And then 2 tablespoons. If you are going to use aquarium salt, you want to put like a little pinch of baking soda so that it kind of helps with the pH and the hardness. So that's it. A couple tablespoons of salt. I'm going to fill this thing with water. That's probably the part that takes the longest. Put this back on the mount. And then from here, because I have chloramine in San Francisco, I'm not blessed to have chlorine like other municipalities, so water here sucks. I'm just gonna put a little tiny splash of Fritz Complete. Love this stuff. Little splash of Fritz Complete, which is a dechlorinator. And then all I'm gonna do is put in some brine shrimp eggs. Now, when it comes to brine shrimp eggs, these are like the little 10-gram jars that we sell at Aquarium Co-op. I just have a whole bunch of them, which is why I'm using these. But you could also get the large 100-gram, which I recommend. It's more cost-effective, better for the environment, obviously. And all I'm gonna do now is take this, open it. You could dump the whole thing. You could do half. I'm gonna do the whole thing because I'm gonna feed my whole fish room. All my small fish, at least. And then I'm gonna put the lid back on, put my airline tubing back in to create some current and mix up everything. And that's it. Actually it took a little bit longer because I was pausing and explaining, but it's really, really quick. And all I'm gonna do is leave this here for about 24 hours. Sometimes I can hatch brine shrimp in as short as about 18 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, like 36 hours, but pretty much 24 hours on average. So basically I'll just leave this alone. I'll come back tomorrow in about 18 to 24 hours. I'll probably hatch out some or pour some out, feed some fish, and then a few hours later I'll have more to feed. So that's it, super easy, great food. But if you don't want to go through the process or you don't have the ability to have a hatchery, just get a good quality flake food that you can crumble up that's good for African cichlids. Now, when it comes to African cichlids and the fry that I have growing out, you might be wondering, how soon can I put them in the big tank? Well, I did say they grow fast, but they are still really small. And at this time, they would get eaten. If I really was lazy, I could take all 35 of them or whatever, put them in the tank, and I'm sure 3 or 4 might survive, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure I have a good amount to go in there. So I'm going to grow them all out. I'm going to have to move them around to different tanks eventually because they're going to not all be in that small tank. And then little by little, I'll pick out the 8 or so nicely colored males that I like. And probably in about 5 or 6 months, they're going to be about that big, lots of color, and then I can put them in that tank. And I will show you how I do that at that point. I do have another video on this channel that talks about how to add African cichlids into an aquarium because it can be difficult with aggression. Fish sometimes die if they get beat up. So there is a trick to that. So if you don't want to wait 5 or 6 months, you can click on this video or down below in the link in the description. I'll put a link of that video that explains how to add fish to your African cichlid aquarium. Okay, now it is time for the announcement and the giveaway. We're doing 2 giveaways, 1 US viewer and 1 international viewer. So everyone wins. All right, what is the announcement? Well, I've been making YouTube videos since 2016. Horribly in the beginning, I must admit, but this came in the mail today. I opened the box, obviously. Make sure they got my name spelled correctly and that I didn't screw up, but I haven't even opened it. So there's some foam. Here's a letter from the CEO of YouTube. Obviously not handwritten, it's just a form letter from the CEO, but I'm gonna save that, probably put it in a frame. Here we go. We have the Tazawa Tanks 100,000 subscriber YouTube plaque. You're the first one seeing it. I just opened it. I haven't done anything. So I'm super excited. I never in the beginning thought that this was gonna happen, and then I thought it would happen, and then the YouTube world changed, and well, it's happened. So thank you to all of you that have been watching my channel and watching videos over the several years that I've been making them and have subscribed and supported me. I very much appreciate each and every one of you, which is why I'm doing this giveaway. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, this is your first time, well, welcome. Hopefully you enjoy it, subscribe, and hang out for the future videos. All right, so here is the giveaway. We're doing one international giveaway, one US giveaway. If you are in the United States and I am able to reach out to you, connect with you, I am going to send you a $100 gift card to Aquarium Co-op. Now, I do work for Aquarium Co-op, but I'm going to pay for it myself with my money. So it's not like I'm using Aquarium Co-op's dollars to do this. I'm my own money. As an employee, I'm going to buy a gift card. One of you here in the US will get it. How do you get it? All you need to do is make sure you're subscribed, comment down below what state you live in the United States, and put the word brine shrimp in your comments. So basically subscribe, write down the state, so you can say Mary, Idaho, brine shrimp. That's all I need. I will reach out to you. I will reply to your comment if you are the winner, and I will issue you a $100 gift card. If you do not see it from, and I'm not going to ask you to send me any kind of like, send me your financial info or any of that WhatsApp crap. So if someone's trying to impersonate me, it's not me. Make sure it's from Tazawa Tanks, me. You'll be able to tell that it's me and not some faker with using my logo. I will send that to you. Now, if you are international, obviously you can't shop from Aquarium Co-op. However, I can actually go to our warehouse. I'm actually going back up there in a couple of weeks, next week, for business. So when I'm there, I will also pick another random winner, and I will package personally a few items to send to you because you can't order it from us. So I'll put together an order, I'll pay for that as well, and I will send that to you. So if you are international, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what country you live in, and write the word YouTube. And that's all you got to do. So hopefully one of you or a couple of you are excited. Obviously, hopefully you're all excited and someone wins. Well, a couple of you are going to win. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, thank you for joining me along this journey to get to 100K. Thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring me. Thank you to Extreme Aquatics for all of the fish food that you provide for me. Thank you to Fritz Aquatics for all the chemicals and all the stuff to keep the fish happy and healthy, like my favorite cichlid salt here. And again, thank you to all of you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out this video over here, and we'll catch you on the next one.
It's a major award.
A major award?